Okay, today we're going to be talking about how to get ready for a test. So, not how to take the test, but how to get ready for the test. So hopefully, if you're having trouble whenever you're getting ready for a test, you don't know how to prepare for a test, maybe some of these suggestions that we have today might help you in preparing for your test and being successful and getting a good grade. Okay, have you ever felt unprepared for a test? You know, sometimes you're thinking, okay, what do I have to study? What is it going to be on the test? Did I study the wrong things? Sometimes it's difficult to remember things like that. So hopefully these suggestions that we make for you will help it make it a little easier for you. Okay, first thing you need to do is make the most out of the class. You know, that is the most important thing. When you go to class, be prepared for class lecture. Ask questions, listen, and take good notes. Now you want to make the most out of the lecture, because that's where most of the test questions come from, is during the lecture. And also any audio visuals, any handouts that the professor provides. What you might want to do is when you're taking notes, this is a sample of the Cornell method, and what you do is you put questions on the right side and you put the main ideas on the left side. Now what you might want to do when you're taking notes is, as the professor's talking, when he talks about, okay, mentions a topic or a header, then you might want to put it here. Then you put the information right next over here. The thing about this is that when you're reviewing for your test, you can cover this part of it, ask yourself these questions, and then see if you got the right answers. And remember that when you're doing this, make sure that you put the title of what the lecture was on that day, so that when you're going back, you don't get confused. So we have samples of these in the office. If you want more information, you can always come into the S.T.A.R Center and we can provide this information for you. But this is a good way to do it. You can also do it on your notebook paper, spiral notebook paper. If you don't know how to do it or need help in setting it up, just let us know and we can help you with that. The next thing is you need to do is your textbook. Always, always read the chapters before the lecture, because a lot of the information that comes in the lecture comes from the textbook. One of the key things to look at the textbook is always look at the bolded headers, this is what we call a header, because that tells you what the rest of the information is going to be coming from. Also, anything that is underlined, highlighted, bolded, italicized, those are key terms. And a lot of times, that's where they get the questions from as far as the tests that you're given. So that's always really good to know. But the main thing is, like always, if you have a chapter or you have a section that you have to read before the lecture, go ahead and read it, skim through it, kind of look it over. Any way that will help you to keep the information. Because these are good when you're setting up to get ready to study for a test. You can quiz yourself on some of the sections in the book. Okay, other important resources is use the handouts and the study review sheets. Some professors, what they do is before each exam, they give you a review sheet. And especially for finals, they might give you a review sheet that tells you, okay, this is the material that might be covered on the exam. So always make sure that you have that. Also too, if you get your, let's say your quizzes or your exams that you take throughout the semester, if you get those back after they've been graded, those are also good sources for you to look at in preparing for your final exam, especially the final exam, because sometimes final exams are comprehensive. What that means is it covers everything that was discussed during the semester. So it's really good for you to keep track of all that. Be sure to pay attention before the day before your test. Pay attention to what the professor is covering, because this is very important, because this is usually the time that they start hitting the high notes on, okay, some of the information that they keep emphasizing might be on the test, or they might tell you, I need you to listen this today because this information that I'm talking about might be on the test. So, listen and pay attention. And before you leave the class, be sure to ask questions. If you have any questions about the test, to be sure that you know what information the test is going to cover. Also, find out the test format. Is it going to be an essay, true, false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, combination of them, to kind of get an idea of how you might want to study, so that way you'll be better prepared for the exam. Okay, so we're going to go over some test preparation tips. Create a study plan right from the beginning. Create a study plan on what you're going to study. And by that means is like when you get the syllabus, you get an agenda for the semester, what's going on. So you always know what's coming up. So what chapters are going to be covered, what sections are going to be covered, when you're going to have the test, quizzes, whatever. One suggestion is using a planner. Now, this is a planner that we have here at the S.T.A.R Center. If this is something that you think would be helpful for you, we have some of these that we can give out to the students. Also, too, on your phone, on your cell phone, you have a calendar. You can go ahead and put down all the information from your syllabus in terms of what is going to be covered in that class during the semester, so that way you know when anything is coming up, assignments, homework, tests, quizzes, whatever, you'll be able to keep track of that. And that's one of the first things in preparing for anything, is you need to know what's going on in the class. Also, too, another thing is using flashcards. Then you can use any, for example, we have colored flashcards. What you do is, like, especially with terms and definitions, you put the word in the front and then you put the definition in the back. Put a question in the front, put the answer in the back. You can quiz yourself. You can have somebody quiz you. You can use color cards. You can use, regular index cards. Again, these are materials that we have available here at the S.T.A.R Center. So if you, feel that you need to get some of these, that's perfectly fine. Also, too, if you want help in figuring out how to use them, we're here to help you if you need to. Also, multiple choice questions. A lot of times you use Scantrons for that. So, this is probably, you're probably familiar with this kind of Scantron. This is what they usually use for multiple choice. So this is another thing that you need to look at, is you need to look at, if it's an essay, how am I going to write it, free write it. Usually the recommendation is just free write it and then put it together and then put it on the paper when you're taking an exam. Go over the main ideas and the key facts on an essay. Open book test, sometimes you're lucky you get an open book test. You know the subjects, the chapters that you're going to be covering. Put sticky notes, so that way as you're taking the open book test, you can go and just flip to where you need to flip to, so you don't need to be hunting all over the place. You know exactly where everything is. True, false, and multiple choice, make sure that you know your facts and you know the information. On multiple choice, process of elimination. Eliminate the answers that don't make sense. That way you can kind of more or less have a 50-50 chance of getting the right answer. Same with the true, false. Look for the key words. If it's everything, all of the above, none of the above, or A and B, or they have certain qualifying words. And when you're doing the test taking workshop, they'll be covering some of that information. So, but looking at certain things on the true, false. But the most important thing is to review. Review often, and that's the key for you to learn, and that's the key for you to be ready for the test. So that way the night before the test, you're not going to be cramming. Cramming is usually not a good idea. Like I said, any questions, any comments, if you have anything that you would like to ask us, we're here at the S.T.A.R Center to help you. You can either call or come by the office. Of course, we're on the 3rd floor of the library, so hopefully this will help you, and we'll see you soon.